I don't know. I hope I got you all here. Had some weird stuff today. Hey, I hear myself. That's not good. Oh well. Gonna have to get used to it. Let's see here. Anyway. I don't know what is going on, but I'm going to paint the minis today. I've got one more. I tweeted it out, but I didn't reveal. Somebody was like, spoilers, and they're correct. We did reveal the carnivore dinosaur at the end of Adventure 2. And anyway, I've got these here. Let me switch to another angle. Nothing seems to be working 100% today. Hopefully it's okay for you guys. I believe we've got audio. Hey, audio is okay. That's good. We have the... I worked on... these four first that we put in the first campaign that we did, which was Adventure 1, and it was Adventure 1. And then for Adventure 2, I did the Spinosaurus. Boy, I couldn't remember that name. And this one turned out great. I used a different technique where I dry brushed the mini for the zenithal highlighting before putting on the contrast, the GW contrast paints or the Citadel, and it looks pretty good. It's a different look. This has a lot more texture for the scales, and I feel that it works out. So I noticed that there's a lot of shiny there. It's weird. I wonder why the varnish would have done that. But this one looked great, and I loved how doing the dry brush technique worked for this one. So this new one that I'm doing here, which is the Carnotaurus, spoilers, it's got a lot of texture. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm using a different paint this time because potentially I think that the other one was a little too thick. I needed to probably thin it before I've used it. I've used it recently, but not that recently, obviously. But I think this one's going to look great. Scott was talking about when we revealed the card, there was some great flare, lighting the dinosaur with the flare. I may do the same thing. But if I do that, it will require airbrushing. So what I'll do is I'll paint it out as it is now and then airbrush after I've painted it to try to do that and see if I could do I mean, I might even just be able to build up the orange on top of it slowly with a more fine airbrush. The airbrush I use here most of the time for priming is really not ideal for doing detail work. There is, I mean, potentially you could change the nozzle, but I don't know anything about, excuse me, I don't know anything about that. as far as if there's any available. So I will use one of my Badger. I actually have quite a few Badger airbrushes, that some for very fine detail that would be fun to actually try to do, where I would airbrush a highlight underneath all this in his little tiny arms to give it a highlight from the flare. And maybe even on the barrel here or something like that. But yeah, I think this one's kind of interesting. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the flare lighting. I'd like to try to do that. I wish I could do it on the stream. One of the things I thought to do in advance was specifically dry brush that, but it would, or airbrush it. But the problem would be is like, I need to paint it before you can do that. You need to have the undertones for it to give it that effect that you're lighting it with the flare. So let's see. I think I'm going to try just a small brush. There's a lot of paint on there. Wow, a lot of paint going on too. So it's actually better than the other paint. Wow, too much. Maybe it went further than I thought in the bristles. I mean, it's really okay. It makes it look pretty dynamic. And it's actually I mean, it's definitely going on better than the previous. His head looks like, or her head looks like a skull. You know, it's more defined. I was reading about this one, and these dinosaurs, you know, have tiny little arms, but were very fast. So they probably were targeting smaller herbivores, or maybe carnivores too. This is exciting because it actually has some terrain kind of things going on here. Although, you know, the last one, they have all done something, but I like the little barrels and stuff. You know what, I'm using glasses that aren't going to help me here. Thanks for fixing that, Scott. We just see her forehead. Am I like leaning into it? Oh, you know what? I didn't do it. There we go. My forehead. You don't want to see my forehead? Crab fist. This has been a crazy day. We're preparing for Spiel. We leave tomorrow, and I've just been trying to get stuff done, and I have seriously had nothing but troubles all day long. Which is unfortunate. It would be really nice to just be able to get out the door without too much trouble. I normally work really, really late before we leave. And I may be working late tonight. I'm hoping not. I was waiting for a few things, and they showed. Oh wow, that's too much paint. They showed up here a little bit ago, so I'll be able to get it all done. But it's just more work. So yeah, this lighting effect, you know, you kind of want to beef it up towards the top, right? It's the sun, although we're going to have a flare, so it's probably not going to really be you know, it'll be darker, it'll be lighter on the bottom, which I want it to be anyway, because I'm going to do a lighter underbelly, even though this one has a different coloring. I don't remember it from, I don't know if I've actually seen the second Jurassic World movie. I must have. So this technique's great. You don't have to use an airbrush. I think it's worth getting an airbrush. But you know, you got to know that you're going to enjoy doing it. I do love the tiny little arms. They're just so dinky. I'd never heard of this dinosaur. But they were saying they're even smaller than the T-Rexes, and they were almost just wrists. I'm still nursing the wound from the cut when I was doing something almost a week and a half ago. But I don't want to be traveling with my finger even slightly cut, even though it really isn't cut anymore. And you don't need to see it on camera. I do like when you compare the bases, the airbrushed and the non-airbrushed one, I kind of like the dry brushed one. But I think this one looks more like what I was shooting for, which was the frieze around where the dinosaur skeletons were in Jurassic World, or Jurassic Park, in the visitor center. So you just build it up, and I would like to try to do a little bit more than I had done previously. I almost dry brushed all this before the stream just to have it done, but the thing is I really want to show people how easy this is. And I painted the dinosaur prior to starting today by hand with Badger's Stynylrez Res primer paints, and they're good. I mean, I know others, people have talked about Vallejo's, and Monument Hobbies has a new primer, primers that I have not tried yet. I meant to buy them at Gen Con and I forgot. Although I suppose it's probably better not to be putting that in my luggage. So yeah, this was better paint. It's better to use the moisture paint. It's okay though, it gives it a different look. I don't mind them all looking a little different, especially because they're all slightly different. I have glasses to be able to see this better, but there's a tight range. I actually can read without glasses, but to see the miniatures, I need a little bit of help. Because I've painted without them, and they're decent, but you just end up, you need them for certain elements, details and things like that. I know that the World Series of Board Games is going on right now in Vegas. I have not really been able to pay attention. I'm intrigued. Nick Murphy of the Brothers Murph went. Mike couldn't go. So I'm not really doing zenithal highlighting here. Now, it's not necessary to do that. I do like it though when I do that. But these are not full bodies and all that. And these seem like they're exhibits inside the visitor center in Jurassic Park, or yeah, in Jurassic Park or World. But yeah, I do like the zenithal highlighting. It works pretty good for the contrast paints and the speed paints. I have not used the speed paints yet. I want to try them. So I'm putting a little bit more down on the freeze. So this dinosaur has kind of a brown undertone. It looks kind of red. I mean, I'm looking at it now. I don't want to show the card since it's a spoiler from the game. It seems like that takes place at night or something. But this does not, I mean, there's fires and it doesn't, but it looks like it's a barbecue, kind of a burned hot dog. Yeah, this has been a weird day. Okay. So I will probably use the brown, the Gorgrunta with the Basilicanum gray to give it just a slightly darker tone. Let me mix these both up. And then I will try to detail the scale. There's like just it literally looks like a burned hot dog to me. Oh, you know what I forgot before I get carried away? I want to paint the inside of the mouth. I want to give it a little bit of white because I want the tongue to stick out. I've looked at pictures of lizards, and I'm looking at this picture of the Carnotaurus, and it has the same kind of purple tongue. Oops, I'm showing you there. Okay. I don't know what kind of drum. Should I do it as a yellow drum? You see, maybe a little bit. Well, I cleaned it up. I should have a little brush here that I use as a smaller dry brush. I don't know where it's at. Here we go. So when I would prime this, I generally try to favor some objects that are lighter, put a little bit more white paint in those so that it shows up more strongly instead of really, really dark. Doesn't mean I always did that. I had some problems with Professor X's floating wheelchair in the Marvel United miniatures. Has anybody started, or is anybody working on any projects, miniature projects? I've been really doing a lot of this stuff, and I'm having a great time because it is forcing me. I've been trying to stream once a week, although today I'm streaming twice. This week, sorry. I streamed on Monday, and I'll stream it today. Okay. So let's put some of this color on the palette. I almost feel like I should do a wash of the, do what I say, which is thin it out, or not thin it out, but lighten it up with the contrast medium. And then just build it up as I put it on to increase the darkness, then blur in some of the gray, and I think I'll do that for both of these. Both these colors. I am looking forward to Spiel. I missed going last year. I was not too FOMO'd. I kind of was stressed out about how much stuff I had done with folks, with a lot of people. I went to Gen Con, went to a concert. Concert was a little kind of an eye-opener, and I was like, oh, you know what? I don't think I want to do this. So I didn't go to, I decided then not to go to Spiel, and then hilariously, I've been to 3 more concerts this year, but I've also kind of decided that we shouldn't let it slow us down too much, as long as we take precautions. Okay, now put the gray down. I tried to organize the desk a little bit this last week, and I've gotten some of it together, but not as great as I'd like to have it. Today was do a bunch of things that we'd hoped to get done in the last few weeks before we leave, and there's still much more to do. Varnishing War of the Ring, The Thing, Fear of Dracula, and Beowulf minis. Awesome. Oops, you know what? I probably should have cleaned that brush a little bit. I usually leave some of the brush soap on there. Which is a good thing, but you can see what this does is already makes it look pretty great just with this coat. Oh, I didn't do the tongue, but I'll get back to that. I wanted to do the underside a little lighter. Forgot about that. So let me get a slightly redder instead of a paler thing going on there. I have no bearing whether that's accurate. I really just want them to look interesting. All right, got your boosters. We got ours on Monday. I'm really glad we got it taken care of, but they pushed us back a lot. They just didn't have anything available. A little bit of contrast. It's going to be pretty red when I put this on, but my plan is to actually put brown on top of that to change it. Because, I want carnosaurs to be red. It's very kind of pink. Maybe because of the white. Got some pink everywhere. Okay, now some brown. To do a little bit of blending of it. We did watch the latest Andor, which was pretty interesting. So this is a wooden crate. I wonder what... Maybe use like a... Boy, I don't know. Snakebite leather, maybe thinned out, will be good. So I'm going to let the body dry while because I need to do some other things around it, but I want to get into I didn't do the mouth. Quite a few teeth here too. I'm trying to look for a better picture. Problem is I don't think it's mostly clips from the movie, you know. It looks like its horns are pretty dark too, so. And the spines are dark. And I've dry brushed those so that they're light. Maybe well, let me do a little bit of snakebite leather and see what that looks like. I believe that's kind of the tone I'm thinking about. While I'm thinking about that, I just want to put a little bit of white. Oof, too much paint. I should be using the contrast paint for the Apothecary White. It actually does a pretty good job for building up, but I mean, this is just inside the mouth. I wish I could see the eyes. The eyes are yellow. All these, the dinosaurs' eyes are yellow. Okay, a little bit of the snakebite leather thinned out. Hopefully it'll look like wood. It looks like a milk can there, but I think that's supposed to be a fire extinguisher. I will have time when I get back to try to do the OSL lighting, object source lighting. If I mess it up, I can always just strip the Mini and paint it again. It'd be the last thing I want to do, but I wish I knew what the dinosaur did in the movie. So I'm going to put a little bit of that blood red, blood angel's red. Use a tinier brush for that. The horns and the claws are dark. So I'm going to stipple some effects here. I'm doing what I did on the others, which is just putting dots of paint to give it some of the texture of this modeling that the skin has. I can't really show it. I mean, it's mostly on the back here that I see, not any of its legs. But if I put this on and then put a coat, a thin down coat of this using the Basilicanum gray, it gives it a pretty decent looking. Wow, I'm putting on too much paint. But yeah, like the skin technique, the skin markings. The burnt hot dog look. I'm not really succeeding at the burnt hot dog look. I do need a lighter color gray now. Well, let me look at it. I might want to make sure I have enough dark spots going on here. The stippling kind of gives you the scale effect, maybe. Although these minis are, this one and the Spinosaurus have a lot of texture on them. So I think I'm going to do a black barrel, maybe with some silver dry brushing. Because there's already some red here and there's already some yellow. I think it would just be distracting. It's interesting that the silicone gray is coming out kind of brown. So I'm not really sure. It looks like he's bursting out of the sidewalk or something. Sorry about that. So I'm actually hoping to use this same, I'm thinned out this Basilicanum gray even further. And I'm going to put it on both the body of the dinosaur and the ground here. don't know what's going on. I remember there was a dinosaur on the roof. Maybe that was this dinosaur. So there's some red that I got on there. Needs to be... Wow, it really is brown. Strange. It really, I need to put a different color down there because that is just for some reason so brown. I've never noticed it being that brown before, so I don't know if maybe the other color is bleeding into it, but there's definitely lots of space on the palette. Let's see if it's going underneath. Nope. So let me put a little bit of black down for some stuff. Too much paint. So I'm using some of the Magos purple. And that will be the interior of the dinosaur mouth. So I might put a little bit of the stuff, the bolder stuff, before putting the, thinning it out in and around the edge of the mouth. So let's see how that works. a little too bold on that, the highlighting of the tongue. I would have airbrushed that and it would have been a little bit milder. Okay. I have some other paint brushes that are actually listed as being dry brushes, but I don't think they really do a good job. They're a little bit too coarse for me. But the brush I'm using here, I'm not sure is great either. It has too much paint in it. So I'm using a little bit of alcohol to soften up the bristles a bit. So the plan is to do a little bit of silver dry brushing with that. That softens it up a little. It looks good. That mouth is a little too pink. So I'm putting a little bit of this coverage over this. So I'm going to just do a larger splotch over the dots. But I'm doing it with the lighter Basilicanum gray. This already makes the throat kind of have sort of this lighting, that effect that I'm hoping to do with the OSL lighting, but I'm thinking I'm going to do an orange. You know, that's just too dark. So I'll take it off and do a little bit. It has some on there. Put more, just the basilicanum. I end up using the basilicanum gray instead of the black all the time. So this is the quick shade of Army Painter quick shade. It's called Strong Tone. I'm going to put that on the box, the wooden boxes. It just looks, they kind of stick out. Still pretty strong, but it hasn't, when it dries, it does shift the tone a little bit. People call this, you know, when you do this inks and stuff like that, they feel it's cheating, which liquid talent, I guess they call it. But I think it's valuable for sure. So I'm going to use the, I think I used the sepia. Boy, I don't recall. It's interesting that I dry brush this edge and I mean, I've been handling it, so probably took it off. Touching that sepia, which is bad. Sepia. It was always sepia when I was in school, but I've heard people call it sepia since then, so who knows? I could be wrong. So this one has a different look too. It's not dry, so I should be patient. Let's see what it does, but a little bit more purple on the tongue. Touch that again. I totally meant not to. Should be okay. Well, let's try it for a moment with that. There's something else down in here. I don't know what that is. Underneath his hand, you know, the front forearms, little arms. So I mean, the water on this one definitely benefited from the dry brushing. Looked really great, and the scales too. I think this other one's pretty great too, but it's looking different. That's okay. I want them to be different. I could probably paint the little, I won't touch anything else. I'll paint the emblem. I want to paint the white in the background on that. I almost felt like I shouldn't. I just left it the red, but I think it would make the red look not the same as the other reds. Thanks, Iron Spy. Pallid Bone in the Army Painter starter set is a good pale too. I use that for the Dunharrow Dead Men in War of the Ring. I have to see that. Things I'm looking forward to at Spiel. Well, I played it. You were there when I played Heat at Gen Con. I want to play that more. I'm looking forward to trying to get a copy of that one specifically for us, because we're trying to get stuff for the BG library, and I could always take it after the con, but after BG Con, but I really want to try to, I want to have that one and give it some thought. Because it's the designers of, what is that game called? It's the bicycle racing game from Lauterpolite. And I like that game, but I didn't like it as much as other racing games. Because one of my favorites is, literally one of my favorite games even of all time is Turf Master. And I also really love the new version of it is called Downforce. I have many versions of that game, you know, of variants of it. It was originally done by Wolfgang Kramer as a abstract kind of a race game. I think it was once also called Top Race. I might even have that version of it. And NASCAR, Daytona 500. Daytona 500 is another version. And let's see what else. I'm looking forward to Caldera Park. I believe that is going to be available. That's from Deep Print Games. We played the prototype of that in August. So I want to play that again. I know there's some more, and I actually need to review the release list, because I got to see what we should be. I mean, I know we have a list. We're building a list that Beth has been working on, and we're going to try to get all that stuff. I sure hope. I was looking at somebody's comments about the what is it called? The preview, the Spiel preview that Eric has been working on for the last few months. And they were just discounting like the top stuff. And I know that the buzz, I don't think that that's necessarily from others than the fans. So I wouldn't discount it completely. And you know, we have a lot of people when they do the hot games for the BG Con, that's all voted on before the con. But I'm looking forward to a lot. I'm just looking forward to going around and having a chance to see some. You know, we had a tougher time at Gen Con as far as collecting games. And the goal is to try to be as far along as we can after Wednesday. And we won't be waiting. We'll be bringing, I don't know where the collection point is, but we'll be doing a better, I mean, it's not like it's very close as far as our hotels. It's not terribly far, but it's not exactly close. but that'll be cool. Oh, and it fell off the stand. That's the only downer about this, is it doesn't really hold this type of mini base. I'm also looking forward to going to the used game stall booth sellers. I don't know how many will be there. The last time there was not that many. And there's one guy that's just great. They used to be in Hall 2. Is that right? And in Hall 1. And they're not anymore. I mean, Hall 1 is, at least the last time I was there, was mostly dominated by Asmodee. Getting too sloppy. I don't think this brush is actually very good. It used to be great. So, different brush. It is interesting how each of these bases has turned out differently. Especially the first 4, since I primed them all at the same time and was trying to do the same thing. I did an experiment when I was in college where I tried to paint the same painting twice at the same time. And I was not successful. It was close, but it wasn't really close. I thought if I could get the two paintings close, I could then change some stuff at the end. But it was not, really not close. I mean, you know, at the time particularly, I was doing everything. I think I used a opaque projector to transfer the art that I had done, and then I was using an airbrush, so I was masking it with frisket film, and I was trying really hard to match it, and it's hard. This is the one that sounds like track on here from Epidemic Sound. It sounds like Mannheim Steamroller to me. I don't really, I might have a CD of that was given to me at some point. But it was like, they played it in the record store that I worked at in college. All the time during the holidays. Gosh, it was so much. I really got tired of hearing it. A little bit more white. Wow, you got Turf Master. Where did you get it, Michael? Did you get it on the BGG Marketplace or ordered? I mean, I know that publisher occasionally makes more copies of it. We bought a cool one that Eric had featured called Schnipp and Weg, I think. It's kind of a crokinole thingy, but not. And it's great. We played it when we were in Germany, and I actually asked Annie and Sebastian to get that for me well before we got there, because I wanted to take it home, and without shipping it, it's probably pretty heavy. Since the board's wood and tokens are wood. Jack Vassal auction. All right. There's a couple of, there's maybe 3 race maps with it. 2 of which I think they manufactured and 1 you can print. It's worth getting them. So one thing that's a downer, you know, there's a way to do this. I should be doing that. Because, you know, using the miniature holder is great, but I have a piece of dowel that I cut and sanded. But that's what I should be doing here. Because then I won't be touching the mini. These paints are so delicate. But yeah, use poster tack or quake hold is another thing you can use. Yeah, we were supposed to have cooled down by now, and it is not cooling down. Hope it cools down because my mom just can't handle it. I think I have a 6-hour mix. I should actually start this mix further along. Nothing wrong with this, but I recognize it all. Oh wow, pro printed, that's nice. I think, I mean, I had access to big, large-scale plotters, printers, basically giant inkjet printers. I don't remember if I ever did it. I totally could have, but I don't know that I did. But that's one of Aaron's favorites. I think we played it on one of our live streams. Wow, this is downer. It's very top heavy. Well, not really. I guess I'm just placing on slightly uneven surfaces. Let's close that and put out the brown again. Okay. I do wish I had a slightly better brush. I mean, I do have a decent brush, but in a specific size I don't have. I think it's 20000. Hmm. So Stream Elements is not working. All this stuff is so cobbled together. If you've been following or anything like that, I'm so sorry I haven't seen any of it. I see some from a little bit earlier. Hey, it's my head. I think back in the day I ordered that Turfmaster from Game Surplus. I really miss them. They would put in an order every so often because people love that game. Leaning too far forward. Let that dry. It's okay. It's definitely different with the dry brush method for these because I think, of course, the white is much smoother going on in an airbrush. So this stuff doesn't look quite as smooth as. Let's see. This is the first one. See how smooth the brown looks, but it doesn't matter. Here was the other one I did that was dry brushed, and it's not that bad. Okay, so red. So this is a single pigment color, which means it will mix up pretty quickly. But some of the other ones, man, it takes some effort to get them mixed up. That red is strong. Don't get it over all over the place. It sticks out. Wow. Messy. Was doing good till that last brush stroke there. Is that it or something else? Two of them. Bad news. So the reality is you can touch that up with a little bit of white and then put the red back over it. Ugh, sloppy. My head's in the way. That looks pretty good though. So a little bit of white for the eye. Can't focus, and I can't focus. Clean it up. Wow, it's just not going on. I don't know. This is a new brush. I've only used it once. Well. Come on, focus on this. It's weird. Sometimes this camera's so fast. Okay. It's better, but it looks better from another angle than it does the other angle. Wow. I just messed it up. Okay, I'm just gonna go. Okay, I need a yellow. Let's try this yellow. This tiny, it looks about the same as the other yellow. I don't want it to, I want it to use the brown to soften up the edges of the yellow for sure. Now I need to put a little, have to let it dry, but I need to put pupil. And at least this picture, this dinosaur looks like it has a round pupil. Not ready, I don't want to mess that up. Rushing it. Yipes, it was looking good there for a second. Goodness gracious. I'm not getting this. The other side went on great. When I'm wearing glasses, though, it messes with my depth perception. It's one of the reasons why many people don't paint the eyes, but these are so big. I don't have an excuse. I'm gonna laugh, but the Brothers Murph put out a video recently. It was probably on. It was on Twitter, but it's also probably on their Instagram or something like that. But it's Nick trying to paint an eyes, and it's 100% the truth. You psych yourself up, you go to do it. For me, it's always one and then the other is messed up. He's kind of stoned looking. I got to cut the eye, putting on a sort of an eyelid. This side anyway, it's like, hey, I'm tired. Anyway, okay, so that's all of that. I do want to put on some ink, Nuln Oil on the stone because I feel it sticks out too much. So we'll see how that works. So Nuln Oil is a wash that's very kind of thin. It's not drastic, but what it does for me is it brings two surfaces together that are different colors. So what you normally do is you normally put it on all of the surfaces. Like, I'm not going to do that. I've already got some wash on some of these other things. So I'll go with it as it is. So now it's teeth. I did put washes on the other dinosaurs. I put some on the Brachiosaurus. Put it on the dinosaur itself. And that one helped, but I don't think it always helps. Sometimes it darkens things too much. Okay, teeth. Let me clean this brush though. It is a new brush and I would like to try to keep it in good shape. Seems like it's already got a bit of a hook and I was trying not to paint that way. Okay, I'm going to use a new small brush that I have, if I can find it. Here it is. So the teeth, it's a very fine brush, so I'm just gonna make sure it doesn't have too much paint in it and just hit it with a little tiny dab of paint. Nope. Maybe a little bit more paint. It's not going on very well. Don't know. I mean, part of it is I'm not using a fresh white. It has been on the palette for a little while, so that could be of it. Ugh. Got some tiny teeth too. I think I'm rushing it. I'm anxious. I got stuff to do, but I would like to finish this. So. Wow, it's too wet. Something's too wet there. We'll have to darken that up. Not a lot of teeth on the front end of this, and that's just probably the model. Okay, the upper jaw is mostly decent. Boy, that's gonna, some dark, a lot of teeth kind of, I don't know. She's a mean dinosaur, so I'll go with it. So I'm tempted to try something I've never done, which is dry brushing dark, like black. I usually dry brush light. So if I go this route, I'm just going to try to do these spines, I'm afraid. I think the paint might be too wet. So I'm going to do it here. Because I want the tips of these spines to be sort of like the illustration. Now, of course, this is not, none of these things are consistent. You know, it's done in CG. Let's do a real towel instead of this napkin I've been doing. It may not be visible. It's really contrary to what the dry brush thing usually is. But it seems like it's darkening up the spines, so I think that that's probably okay. Well, I think that that's, if I am successful with the highlight, you know, for the OSL flare lighting, then maybe it'll be enough to make this one more interesting for me. I like this mini, but I don't think it looks that exciting. Although the face looks great. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to call it a day. Let me switch cameras. This should work. Let's see if it does it. No, it's not. Oh, you know what? I bet you the well, there we go. We won't be back streaming till for about 2 weeks. I think we're going to stream on the 13th, which is exactly 2 weeks away. We're going to stream some games, I believe. We're not going to do Jurassic World till the next week. So let's see if we can raid somebody. But thanks for everybody for joining me today. I wish I could read that. Actually, I can if I put these other glasses on, probably. Prime Video. Oh, it's Thursday Night Football. That's exciting. I didn't know we followed that, but maybe that's because of Scott. Wow. I don't know what we're going to raid. Well, we certainly aren't going to raid football. So maybe we'll raid Chess Bra. Say hello to everybody over there at Chess Bra. Hope you guys all have a great time. Sport ball. That's how I feel, Notable Joe. Hey, Landy, dude. I send you my miniatures. Send you your miniatures to paint for me to paint. I'm telling you. So before we run off, you can do this yourself. You can paint them yourself. It's not that hard. You saw basically how I did the dry brush today. And I think it's so rewarding and worth doing it. Actually, this looks much better than, it's off camera here, but it looks much better than I initially was going there, you know, because I felt that things were too broken up. But the washes brought things together. I put the wash on I put strong tone on the wooden crates, and I put the Nuln Oil on the ground. So I think it looks good. And then, you know, this is a wash here, so that sort of brought together the surfaces, although I did it prior to painting the brown. But you can do this. It's not hard. That's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. I actually can paint in a standard method. Here's the example of one of my minis that I always have sitting here, that when I spend the time on it with standard acrylic acrylic paints, it works. You can do it. It's much more work. It looks very nice, but that's this kind of mini. These things here look great, and then my my Marvel United stuff. Let's get Mysterio today. I haven't pulled him out in ages, but you know, look how great he is. And this was really quickly primed the same way as this mini, let's say, and then I just painted carefully around the piping here to give it so that I could come back and do the gold on top of it. Painted the red, which I wasn't blown away with this red, but it's fine. They have newer reds now. And then I went in with a color over the white that I had sort of tried to make it swirly looking with the primer. And then I put the blue over it and did swirly stuff too. And it looks great. And this was probably a couple hours at most. You know, I do this stuff while I'm talking all the time. Actually, I might have done this one off camera, but it's really worth it, and it's rewarding. We don't see what you're showing us. I'm not doing very good here. Let's go back. Here we go. So this looks better than I thought. It looks, the colors are brought together. Everything, the inks really help. The washes really help a lot. And actually, I think the black worked on the spines. It is actually darker now that it's dried. But I was saying that you could do this. This is another dry brushed mini where I dry brushed the undertone and then painted the contrast paints on top of it. And you know, it just takes a little bit of time and patience. And then here's the Marvel United guy that I was talking about. I painted inside out, so I painted the green first, and then the gold piping. Then painted the cape and the gold on that, and then did the cape, and then did the helmet last. I'm pretty sure that's how it all went. And the helmet was airbrushed to look slightly swirly, and then I just swirly the paint on it, specifically because contrast paints can be, on a smooth surface, can be kind of coffee stainy, and that's what I wanted. So there you go. Yeah, it turned out great. It's not hard. Literally, I just took the brush and I was swirling the paint. I just swirled the paint on it to give it that. And it looks really cool. I should actually probably give the helmet or the globe a gloss finish, maybe. I'm nervous about gloss finishes because they always seem to be like terminally sticky, but I haven't actually used the gloss. No, I don't own a gloss from AK. I should get a gloss from AK Interactive. Anyway, let's cut back. Thanks for joining me. We will be back on as I say, on the 13th, and that will be a regular streaming day. We'll stream some Halloween stuff, and then I'll paint on Thursday again. No, Tuesday, and then we'll stream with this mini that I painted tonight. We'll stream Funko's Jurassic World, The Legacy of Isla Nublar. I cannot get that game name in my head. But we'll paint with that. And I'll try to do this. I have enough time where I can try to airbrush. And maybe I'll paint the OSL stuff if I do any stuff with the brush after the fact. But I'll at least show you guys before, on that Tuesday, before we actually play with it. We'll see. I'm hoping. I'm going to be very delicate with it because I really don't want to do it again necessarily. But I have to do a little bit of like thinking about it. It takes time. I'm showing you guys. Anyway, I'll do it on the stream. Keep going back and forth. Anyway, we're going to raid. I think we'll raid. We're going to raid Chest Bra, it's a lot of viewers. Gosh darn, I wish there was some other... Anyway, take care, guys. Have a good one. Let's see if it'll do it. Nope, that's not it. Cool. I can't mess it up here. I hope not anyway. It's very, I'm not the best at this. It's always great to have Derek do it. Anyway, take care, guys. Oh, darn it. I just canceled it. This is how it works with my hand on this tablet. I can't win. Or this is not a tablet. It's a Mac. It's got a great trackpad, but I'm not good with it. Here we go. Bye, everybody.